My name is Bob Scott, editor of The Progressive Accountant, and I'm here today talking with Jim Burke. Jim is a partner with Witham, Smith & Brown of Red Bank, New Jersey. Glad to have you here.
Yep.
Many of you know Jim because Jim is extremely well known in the CPA circles as someone who speaks about how to run a firm, how to use technology, and he holds some very responsible positions in his involvement in the profession. He has been the chairman of the CITP Credential Committee for the last 3 years. He is also taking over as chairman of the AICPA Tech Plus Conference this fall and will be going on the AICPA Board of Directors. Jim, our topic today is social media.
All right.
And that's a topic that certainly is of interest to a lot of firms. And I certainly don't want to hit the obvious over the head too much, but could you talk about the importance of social media to CPA firms and how it's being used?
Oh, absolutely, Bob. It is our opinion on social media. All of our clients are there. Our current clients, our future clients, all of our staff need to be on social media. They need to have a social media presence today. When I look at social media, what are the most important tools from a social media perspective, the important sites to be on? I would say I encourage all of our staff to, if they do nothing else, to have a LinkedIn presence. LinkedIn tends to be the social media conduit that allows us access to our clients, prospective clients, our referral sources, bankers, attorneys, friends that are professionals. They're all on LinkedIn today. So I encourage staff, if they have one site they go to, it's LinkedIn. And that LinkedIn site, I don't care if our staff have it open all day long. It's a way to interact with referral sources.
And I noticed that you emphasized having the social media open all day long, and
Yep.
I know that you've spoken at conferences about the need for firms to let staff have access to social media while at work, so I take it that many firms don't.
Oh, so many don't. Bob, as you know, I speak at a lot of conferences throughout the country. I always ask the question, who blocks social media? And even still today, although not as many today, hands go up in the room. So many firms still block social media. I'll ask those firms, why are you blocking social media? I'll get responses like, it's unproductive, it's a drain on business, we end up having lower realization rates on jobs because our staff are obsessing on social media. I will tell you that it's absolutely not true. When social media first hit, like most firms, we blocked it. It didn't take us long to realize it's the way we're going to do business in the future. We needed to open it up. We were constantly hearing from our staff about the need for social media. We're hearing it from our referral sources, our current clients, that we needed to have a presence and that we needed to be there. I will tell you, most of my staff today, they will have a social media presence. They'll go into LinkedIn in the morning, they'll go to Twitter, they'll go to Facebook, they'll keep it minimized during the day, so they'll receive notifications when someone sends them a message or asks them a question, and again, they have access to it all day long. Bob, I look at it like Outlook. We have Outlook open all day long. It's the way we communicate with each other, our business associates, our referral sources, our clients. Social media is that same way today.
I would assume that you do need to have some policies about how people use social media, and I would suppose any other electronic tool.
Yep.
Can you elaborate on and just what some of the outlines of your policies are?
Yeah. Well, social media hasn't been around for a long time in our profession. So we started in our profession by giving everyone laptops. We gave them laptops. They all had access to the internet through Internet Explorer, through the World Wide Web. So we came up with something called an IUP policy, Internet Acceptable Use Policy. And that policy basically laid out the acceptable and unacceptable uses of internet usage, and then the ramifications of what would happen if you violated that policy. Well, over time, we became more mobile. We deployed more technology in our profession. We gave out smartphones. We gave BlackBerries to every staff person from staff one, day one, until partner. So we came out with policies that embraced that. Then we started to add policies around social media. And you learn a lot about the social media, what to say, what not to say, how to keep it professional. There's a place for the professional side of someone in social media, and there's a place for the personal side of someone in social media. Now, there are those areas that you may have overlap, and you may cross because many clients of mine become friends, and you share that other side of you with that. But again, from a personal perspective, from a firm perspective, we want to keep all the tweets, we want to keep all of the LinkedIn updates on a professional scale. And we basically tell our staff, when we do training on social media, we have formal training on social media here at the firm, we tell them, we give them guidance. When you're writing recommendations for someone, how to write a recommendation for someone on LinkedIn, for example. When you say something on LinkedIn, be careful you're not giving advice on LinkedIn. You're simply making statements, or you're forwarding links, or you're forwarding information that's freely available out there on the internet. So you do need to set guidelines and then educate your staff about the process.
I noticed you're talking a lot about LinkedIn. Is
I am.
the firm using Twitter at all?
Oh, absolutely. You know I'm obsessive on Twitter. We do. Our firm has a presence on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter. All of our staff have a presence on LinkedIn. The next area they go to is generally Twitter, and I would say most of them have a presence on Facebook today as well.
Jim, do you see any return on the efforts you do on social media that you can point to as, we've gotten business?
Absolutely, I will tell you. Yes, I'll give you an example, and I'll use LinkedIn as the example. We recently picked up a client, and the client was in a very unique industry that I will be honest with you, we knew nothing about. And one of the requirements that the client had when they called on our firm, it's a local company, that we wanted to make sure we choose a CPA that really knows our industry. And like most CPAs, if you have one client in the business, you sort of call yourself an expert, like you know that industry. So we said, sure, we're a CPA firm, we can handle your business. So very, very unusual. They decided, instead of us going to them, they wanted to come here to our office to interview us. So we said, fine, we'll have our initial client meeting here in my office. They came to my office. But prior to coming to my office, I just decided to do some homework on the company. It's a medical-related company. It's owned by 3 doctors. So I decided to search LinkedIn. I actually found all 3 doctors on LinkedIn. I started to find out information about what they like. You know that little area about what you like, what you dislike? I started to look about what they talked about in their LinkedIn updates. And what I learned was 2 of the doctors were obsessive car enthusiasts. Car racing enthusiasts. Well, I'm not a car racing enthusiast, just not what I enjoy. I enjoy a lot of other things, but car racing is not one of them. But I can tell you, I have a manager here in my office that is an obsessive car racing enthusiast. So I said to my partner, I said, let's set this meeting up. And you know what? They're car racing enthusiasts. Let's bring Diane into the meeting. So we brought Diane into the meeting. And I will tell you, make a long story short, we ended up landing the client. We knew nothing about the industry they were in. Okay, we're a CPA firm. We can handle tax prep. We can handle financial statements. We could do the job and easily do the job. No client's that unique. What sold it was car enthusiast to car enthusiast talking about racing. We literally sat around the table saying nothing about the firm, nothing about our expertise, and she ran with the whole discussion about naming drivers, naming races, naming cars. That's what landed the account for us. And that's a story I tell all my staff about a good example of utilizing social media to do your homework before you go on a new client meeting. Find out the other side of a person. Find out what their personal interests are so you can talk about other things besides the focused questions on how qualified are you to do their work.
So I think in conclusion what we're saying is social media is not a drain on productivity. The social media actually can improve productivity.
Here's the deal. And getting back to social media, it can definitely improve productivity. I will tell you, like Outlook, so many people initially thought email was a productivity drain. You still hear it today. What happens when you come in your office first thing in the morning? You may get up in your mind, you have in your mind what you want to get done, what you want to accomplish for the day, but what happens? It's worst thing, you open Outlook first thing in the morning, and all those immediate issues from clients and referral sources, they sort of, most of the time, will take priority over what you have planned for the day. So social media is very similar to that. You may learn things in social media that may direct you in other directions during the day, but I just think the bottom line, it helps us to become more productive.
Well, Jim, I really appreciate your sharing your time with us and talking about social media. And again, my name is Bob Scott, editor of the Progressive Accountant, and I've been talking to Jim Burke, principal of Witham, Smith & Brown here in Red Bank, New Jersey. And I'd like to thank you for visiting with us. Good day.
Thanks, Bob.
Great.